Today, this demo shows how to create efficient way for the 2D profile for the Revolve feature. So if you look at this, that the 3D object right here, the bottom of the this documents here, and that we need to use this the cross section as a profile. And if you look at some of the dimensions from center of the axis, that's the axis rotation, to the outer part, outer surface right here, that is half of the 134 diameter. This radius is 67. So I will start with one vertical center line coming through the center of this object, and happens to be origin of that the coordinate system. And I will just offset this line by 67, and that's the starting point we have. So that according to this diagram, I will show you how to do it. So I will choose revolve, and this time I'm going to use the frontal plane. And in this case, I said I'm going to draw a center line, and for convenience, I will just draw vertical infinite length. So I choose one that's the origin of the coordinate. It creates one center line. And as I said, I will offset this line, and again offset, and that's going other direction, so reverse. And I will put the dimension, that's 134 over 2, that's 67, and that's basically one of the line to the outer edge that we have. So that sometimes that if you have the dimensions, it bothers me, so that or it would bother you also, that I will delete that one. And then second one, if you look at this diagram, again, second one, if you look at this diagram, I have from the base, that's the base here, and I could draw one horizontal line, and that's a part of this, the bottom left corner here, like a shoe, right? So that I will try to have another the line which is horizontal, starting from, again, I will draw simply that the horizontal and another infinite line I'm going to have. So that I choose the origin of the coordinates, then I will have that, and also that if you use that the elements, then I could also have one line offset. So if you look at here, I draw that line indicating this edge. I draw one horizontal line, and starting from here, that is the flat area. The outer diameter is 134, inner diameter is 114, so the width will be 10. So that I will have the outer edge be offset by 10 millimeters toward the inside. So I will choose the offset again, and this time I will choose this line again. It is already chosen, the horizontal, so I choose vertical line and offset it by 10. And that's one thing I need. And also, if you look at this again, left corner area, that is this small area that I created here. And then if I look at here from the base, and I could offset this one, again, this horizontal line will be offset by 2, and so that we'll have this sticking out the left corner there, so that I will have another offset of this horizontal line, this time by down, but by 2 millimeters down. So that's what I have. But if I want to have the more features, and that might be too crowded here, so that we may confuse what we have, what we need, and so on. So I will start to trim some of the elements, and for example, trim to closest. So I want to remove that portion, I don't need it. I will remove that portion, and also I don't need this portion and that portion. So I will eliminate those things. And then that again, I need only this one and that one, right? So that's what I need. And another thing is, if you look at again bottom here, I will zoom in that area, and from the original the drawing that we need, I need to have from the base. I just created bottom one here, and from here, that tip of that edge right here to have the angle line is going to be 5 millimeters up, so that I could offset that the bottom, that the horizontal elements. So again, offset this elements by 5 and this case again going up. So that's what I have, right? So that in the case, if I want to trim and I don't need this element, right? Because that is part of this, but I do need this. So that I could trim this element. I don't need that one. I don't need this one. And actually, eventually, I don't need that elements. But at this moment, I will just leave as it is. And then those the millimeter offset and that dimension, I will just delete that dimensions. So that I will have only that some of those features that I need. But undo, because I need the point. All right, so that's what I have. So if you look at, again, I have, now if you look at original diagram, I have this sticking out piece, bottom flat, and here I could draw angle line. So that I could start to draw angle line, which is 20 degrees with respect to horizontal axis. And so I will start to draw a line, and that I just happen to draw the line from here, and that is going to be 20 degrees. And also I could use another, the angle line starting from here, that's another 20 degrees. And so in this case, I could start to put dimensions with respect to horizontal axis. So between this, I'll have 20 degrees. And also with this line and that line will be, again, that will be 20 degrees. So that is the symmetric with respect to the horizontal axis. That's what I have. And then if you look at the bottom, the corner here, and I have the 125 millimeters offset and 36 millimeters offset from the left, the most edge, so that I will draw vertical that offset for that line. So that I will offset this line, because that's why I didn't delete that one or trim that things, offset by 25. So in this case, I'll have 25, and that's right direction. Just I click on it. And also I will have same line that offset this line by 36 millimeters, and that's what I need. So in that case, I need to have, that this one ends right here, and this line has to be extended to that area, so that I will have again trim entities, and I will have the power trim, and this line has to be extended to that intersection and go to trim to nearest. I don't need that small segments right there. And that once I have done it, and I may not need this line, but again, if you want to repeat this process for the top portion, you may need still that some of the segments. So I will just leave it there, right? So that, and that's what I have. And then that if you want to see the, again, top portion, it is symmetric respect to horizontal axis. So one thing is we could use mirror images, and to have mirror images, and I could choose one of those horizontal line, offset it, and that will be offset by the maybe 15 millimeters, that I will have one, the offset of the baseline right here, and that is going to be opposite direction, and I will choose that is going to be 15, and I will choose that line. So that's what I have, and then I will choose that line as the dashed line, so that I could change that to center line, and that's what we are going to use as all right. So that is my mirror line that I'm going to use. Click on this, right click, and that is going to be entities. I will change that to center line. So that is my center line that I will have. And then I could offset, again, I could mirror those three, that these elements respect to this line. So that I could do mirror entities. I would choose this elements. I would choose that elements, and then will be mirror about this line, and also I could have mirror of this line. Again, I will choose again mirror entities. I will choose that element and this element, and I could choose this line and I could choose that line respect to this mirror line, and that's what we are going to have. So that basically I have the both top and bottom, and because that it is going to be very crowded with all the dimensions is put it, because I put the dimensions there, and I will start to delete many of them. So that is going to be clean set. So once I have this, and what I want to have is that, oh, I made mistake. This line is going to be not from here. So I will delete that line. And I will delete this line. And then I have to draw another line starting from that edge. So that I will draw one line. Oops. And then I could put 20 degrees again between this will be 20 degrees, and I will extend this line from the power trim from here to there. And then also that I could draw another line from the top. So in this case, I use that and use 20-degree angle line again. But I made a mistake because that is not starting from the point I needed. So I will choose that and choose that point and draw a line from that point. And then I could put a dimension between these two horizontal axes, and that has to be also 20 degrees. So that altogether with the top and bottom is going to be 40 degrees. So that I will again extend that line, and this line has to be extended toward that one. So basically you have top and bottom, and then you could start to have to trim some of these lines. The trim nearest is easy choice. That has to be gone. This one has to be gone. And I don't need this piece. I don't need that piece. I don't need this piece. And that has to be gone. And that also has to be gone. And then when you look at it, and some of the lines that we have, and that also, that piece has to be gone right there. And then I will delete also dimensions. So that now we are not going to have create now the crowded area. So that I will have this 40 degrees, that will be delete, 20 degrees, that will be delete. So that's basically what we have. And then if you look at the diagram, and I have that component is done. Then starting from here, I have another, the cylinder, so that I will have another line offset it, and this time this diameter will be given 54, so that the center line that rotation axis has to be offset by 27, so that you could do the similar way we have done. So that again, offset of this line by 27, and that is going to be opposite direction. So that's one of the elements you have, and that's what we need. And also that if you look at this, the property that horizontal line has to be offset by certain, and that's 50 millimeters up, so that our offset one is going through this line, and this line will be offsetted, so that offset of this line by 50, and it's going to be reverse direction. So that basically I could have some of the elements that trim again. Then I need to have that, oh, I think I did 50, but it's not showing. So that let's see. The first I will delete the middle horizontal line because I don't need it anymore. And then I will have this line offset of this line by 50 opposite direction, said okay, and then again I will delete some of the dimensions because I try to follow all the dimensions whenever needed. And then with this I could trim some of those line segments that I don't need. These line segments, I don't need this line segments, and let's see what I need. So in this case I have this component is done, and then from here, then if you look at here, it is going to be 50, and that outer surface right here, and that's 54, and that is 5, and then I will have one vertical line, 36 lines. So that's what I need. So that's a 36 line segment, and that's what I need, and things like that. So that, let's see, let's trim some of the line segments so that then we could get it done. So in this case, that, and also that in this case I need to draw one horizontal line, and so that I could find that there's the top edge, so the horizontal line, and passing through this point and up to that line. That's what I need. So that's what I draw. So that basically I have all the geometry, and then I have to trim some of those elements. So in this case, I will go back to the trim, so that in this case, that the once I have this segments, I don't need segments, so that I will choose to trim nearest. That is gone. I have to delete that one. And then I don't need that one either. And this one also, that in the case I may have to offset one more line, so that the horizontal line will be again, vertical line will be offset by 7, because that is the center hole is 14 millimeter diameter. So that I will choose offset of the center line again by 7, and opposite direction, reverse, so that I have that reverse line. And then I could, with the trim, I could trim all the rest of the elements. So I could trim that elements. I don't need this. I don't need that one. I don't need this segments. I don't need that segments. I don't need this segments. And that has to be gone. And that has to be gone. And oh, I made a mistake somewhere. And so that in this case, I need to keep this line. And here, so that is going to be right there, and oh, that has to be gone. So now I have to trim entities and extend this line to here, because that's what I need, and then go to trim nearest. I don't need this segments, I don't need that segments, and that's what I have. Again, I don't need this segments. So basically I create the profile for this, and then in the case that again I have this, oh, that has to be gone too, so that I will delete that as line segments, and that are my profile. But before we leave, and I showed you before that how to trim, how to do fillet in 3D, but we could do this fillet in 3D. In this case, that's radius of 3 millimeters. So choose fillet and choose that the fillet radius is 3 millimeters. In this case, between these two, and between that, and between this line segments, and also one more from here to there, so that I could have this full fillet. And then I'm done with the profile, so that I will exit sketch now. Then that I could go back to revolve again. Rotation axis will be this, and the control will be this. Then I should be able to complete my profile and this the device. But one thing that we need to do is we have to cut that hole. So that is depth mark right here, is through the middle. So from the middle to the out. So you cannot select rounded surface. So that the reason we use the original quadrant as reference, because we know that all the regular planes will go through right in the middle. So if you go with the front plane, top plane, right plane, so I would choose right plane, and I will go to sketch mode. And in this case, I will go to the normal view to the right plane. So I could create one circle, and in this case, right in the middle somewhere, and radius has to be 10. I mean, diameter has 10, so radius has to be 5 millimeters. And also I could put smart dimension from the top to center. So the from top edge to center of the arc will be 7. So I put 7. And I'm done it. And I will see that isometric view. So in this case, when I try to cut, I will choose what is highlighted, the cut, extrude cut, and then I could go that way, or I could change the directions here and all the way through the surface, and then I will have this object. So that this one helps, probably helps you to create some of those 2D profile by using many offset lines and so on.